Hi all, this is Leah from Mommyish, and this is a tutorial for Felt Up number 3 for Photoshop Creative Cloud or Creative Suite. It has been tested in Creative Suite 3 and above. So, first things first, as always, we want to load all of our styles, the brushes, and the actions. The actions for CS are a bit different. They're all in one little folder. You'll see here, it says the Felt Up Toolkit, there's edging, stitching, and then the last one is an edging and stitching all in one. You'll get prompts along the way, but this is definitely the fastest way to get through. The other two allow you a little bit more control through the process. It's really up to you on which you'd like to use. I'm going to go ahead and start with the very first so you can see what that does, which is the edging. So before I get started, I'm going to show you again. You have your brushes here. You can see there's 6 different edging brushes and 4 different stitching brushes. So we're going to start with our stitching. I'm going to use one of the fluffier of the brushes. I'm going to change my foreground color to the color of the piece that I'm going to apply the action to. So it's done, and again it will prompt you just to remind you, just in case. And as you see, really quick, it's done. I'm going to do the same thing with the red. So I'm going to change my foreground color again, red. Select my brush. Now this time I'm just going to scale it down a little bit. So I made it 20 instead of 25. I'm going to make sure I actually have the correct piece selected and run the action. Just like that. Super fast. Now if this is all I want to do and I don't want to add stitching, all you have to do is then take your layers and apply one of the styles to it. So we have different little felt styles here. Just like that. Super easy. Now I'm going to go back to, the beginning and show you how to run the stitching action, which is also very easy. So you're going to select the part that you want to have stitched, change the foreground color to the color that you want the stitching to be, choose your brush. I'm going to choose the 20 right here and run the action. Just like that. Very quick and easy. Pretty painless. You can use any stitching brush you'd like. It doesn't have to be one of these. It can be from any set that you already have. It is going to pull it in. As you see, there's a little bit of an edge. It's going to pull it right in a little bit and then run the action on a path that it creates on its own. Not all these paths aren't always perfect just because of the way these programs work. So if you are unhappy, I would suggest you, like you're unhappy with the result, you can always create a path on your own. You can use your shape tool or your pen tool and just kind of do a DIY where you just select the brush where you go to paths right here, and then you would just, stroke the path. And that's it. Okay, so the last option is the all-in-one, which is my personal favorite. Now it's going to prompt you through the process to choose the brushes and whatnot, but the end result's really cool and you can edit it with the smart object at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. We're going to start with the blue. I know that how it starts, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'll just follow the prompts like you will. Foreground color, the color of the felt piece, and the edging brushes, and go. So here we go. I'm going to choose the smaller one this time. All right, make the foreground color the color of your stitching and select the stitching brush. So I'm going to make it white. Select my stitching brush. I'm going with 30 this time and hit play. All right, so now you can adjust this layer. It's a smart object, so you're just going to double click on that icon. So I'm going to continue. And if I'm wanting to edit, right here you see there's a little smart object icon. Double click, it'll open up your PSB file. And here you can change which styles it's utilizing. So as you see there, I'm changing on the base one the felt style, the emboss. I could make it puffier or I should say less puffy. Just depends on the look that you're going for. Just like that. And when you have it looking the way you'd like, just do Control S, which will save this little edit and apply it then to your main object. So I'm going to do this again for this red one here. So here we go. Pick the foreground color. Make sure I have the correct brush selected and hit play. And then it says to check your stitching color. So I'm going to stop, changing it to white, changing my stitching brush to a smaller one, hit play, and there it goes again. So you would just do this for each piece that you would want to have the stitching and the edging on. And that's it. So it makes it go really fast. Now for the rest of it, I just want edging. So I'm going to just do the edging action. I'm going to choose one of the smaller of the brushes. Hit play, continue. It's good. Now I'm going to choose this little gray piece, change my foreground color, hit play again, continue. Oops. You can see I didn't select the right layer. Don't do what I did. I'm going to step back a little bit. All right. Don't worry. Now, if you do that mistake, which I just did, okay, you're going to go into your history, just step back a little bit. Then you're going to go to paths and delete the work path that it's created, just in case. All right, so it's not the end of the world by any means. All right, so now I have the correct layer selected, have my brush, and then I have the action. And there it goes. So now I'm just going to apply style, just like that, and apply one to my base layer, just like that. Because of how this is, I'm going to go ahead and rasterize this top part. But the one thing I love about Smart Objects is I can maintain what's happening there while I clip this to this base layer, and then I'm just gonna, oops, wrong one. I was just in Photoshop Elements, so I did Control G instead of Control Alt G. I'm just gonna apply a drop shadow. So let's say for the blue pieces I want to have a stronger shadow, so I'm going to use the bigger one, and then with these a smaller one, and that's it. And here's a drop shadow on the felt. It comes with your set, and there it is. We have a little element. So that's it. It's really that easy. You can do, you know, simple one piece little felt pieces or more complex, you know, pieces where there's several layers. I'm going to show you one that I created. This is a little Christmas tree. So some of the pieces I just did edging, which were the little baubles, only have the edging. The Christmas tree, I did the edging and stitching action, same with the Christmas tree base. For the star, I just used edging, and then I created my own paths for the star. And what I just did for that is I took a pen tool and I created a path on my own from one edge to the other, created a layer above, just like that, and I stroked the path with my one of the stitching brushes. When you do that, then you're just going to duplicate that layer, all right, and do the emboss on the underside and then the stitching style on the top. Now for the sake of this tutorial, this is pretty much it. You're done. So, but if you want to continue watching, I'm going to make an element similar to this from start to finish just so you can see how it's done. So what I'm doing is I'm going to make this tree over again by scratch. I've pulled my graphics in from Illustrator, plopped them in, and what I wanted to show you as well is that it doesn't matter if you're starting with a shapefile or let's say you've pulled in from Illustrator and it's a smart object or an already rasterized layer. It's going to treat all of these layers the same, even text. So whenever you run the edging and stitching or any of them really, it's all right. It'll work no matter the type of layer that you're using. So we're going to get started. I'm going to use the I'm going to do the tree first. So again, I'm just going to start by picking out the brushes that I'd like. I'm going to use the more densely packed felt edge here. And make sure that my foreground color is the color of the tree. And hit play. I'm going to stop there, choose the color of the stitching. I want it to be white. And change my brush to a stitching brush. I'm going to choose the 30 this time. And there it is. I'm going to do the same thing with the trunk. So again, starting off with the trunk color, choosing my edging brush next. This somewhat, I'm going to use a 10. I'm going to use a really small one on this one. So we're going to go, stop, get my stitching. I want it to be white. I'm going to go ahead, choose my stitching brush, hit play. All right, there we are. Now for the star, and this is what I would do for all of the little baubles or ornaments as well. I'm going to take this shape and I'm just going to do the edging. So I'm just going to take that layer. Also, let's say, for example, that you want to get it all done at once, and these are not overlapping shapes. So I'm going to take this shape layer, and I'm not going to care about the color. I'm going to just make everything the same color. So I'm just going to add a few little bobbly guys, and I'm adding it to this shape layer so they're all the same in various sizes, as you can see, just like that. So I'm going to merge these together. I thought I had them all together, but now they're not. So let's say I merge all these layers together so I can run the action just one time. You can always color in after the fact, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to choose my edging brush. I'm going to choose this 25 one, but I'm going to scale it down to 15. So it'll be slightly fluffy, and I'm just going to do edging and continue. Just like that. Now, if I want to color these in to be different colors, I'm just going to create a layer above it, clip it to the layer, and I'm just going to use regular paintbrush to color things in different colors. So let's say I want to make some of these baubles red. I can make them red. Or I want one to be blue or tealy. They can be tealy. If I would like one to be pink, it can be pink. And as you see, very easy to do. And then when you apply your style to it, it's pretty much all done and quite simple when you really look at it. So there we go. We have our little baubles. I'm going to merge those layers together. And then I'm going to apply one of the felt styles to it, just like that. Now, as I showed you before with the stitching, I want to add stitching to the star. So I'm going to zoom in quite a bit so I can see more clearly. I'm going to add a layer above it, just so in advance I'm ready to start the stitching stroke, not the action, but how to follow the path. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to choose the brush. I like the 20. I've been using the 20 a lot. I'm going to then go to my pen tool here, and I'm just going to go from one edge to the next, just like that, to create a little path. I'm going to go to paths and then stroke path, stroke with brush. And it's white because I wasn't thinking. So I'm going to go back, change my foreground color to white, and I'm going to stroke again so we can actually see it. Stroke path. All right, I'm going to use my pen tool again, make a brand new path. Ta-da! And stroke path. Oops. I'm going to make a new path. Make sure you deselect the old one before you make a new. Pro tip that I just should know by now, but didn't. All right. So again, just going to stroke that path. Deselect. Go to the next corner to corner. Stroke path. I'm putting this all on the same layer. All right. So once I have that stitching done, I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to rasterize my baubles from before. Rasterize layer style. I'm going to clip this guy down to it. Control-Alt-G. Need to remember. There we go. And then I'm going to add the emboss, the stitching style, and that's done. I could even convert this to a smart object if I wanted to. So I'm going to do that, convert to smart object. And what I like to do, let's say I want to add drop shadows to things, I just go ahead, I take these layers, duplicate them, go to the ones underneath, merge them together. I then clip these guys down, and then I'm going to add my drop shadow. Just like that. And there we have it. We have a finished little element. Pretty quick. So that's how you use the set a little more, with a little bit more control, but it can go so fast and it's so much fun. I really, really enjoyed the set, and I hope you have too. Again, if you have any questions, please post them below, and I hope you enjoy this as much as I have. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.